All Elite Wrestling and its world champion Jon Moxley are being sued for negligence, civil assault, and battery by a production crew member due to an incident that happened live on Dynamite back in 2023. We've got all of the details in this really surprising lawsuit. Cody Rhodes got the first look at him in the Naked Gun movie that's set to release this summer. The Beast MTOS reportedly is set to become a lawyer soon. Danielson reflects on his storied professional wrestling career. Madden has been announced for an upcoming TNA Impact event. Tegan Knox says bookings are starting to pick up following recent comments, and an update on Priscilla Kelly following an injury scare in her first post-WWE match. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Before we begin, as always, you can see right there, we're at 22,443 subscribers. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Join the ever-expanding WNU, that being the Wrestling News universe, as we get closer to our goal this year of 25k. In addition, you can become a member of the WN365 roster. The link's in the video description below. You can click the join button or scan the QR code when it appears on the sidebar. You get your badges, your emojis, and your exclusive members-only content. Now, let's begin with a really big story this evening regarding a lawsuit involving AEW and its world champion Jon Moxley being sued by a longtime production crew member in AEW. Now, this comes courtesy of the takedown from John Alba from Sports Illustrated. It was an exclusive story broken earlier today by Alba, who writes that a production crew member who has worked with All Elite Wrestling since 2019 has filed a civil lawsuit against the company and AEW World Champion Jon Moxley, real name Jonathan Good. In it, he alleges various degrees of negligence by AEW and Moxley, alongside civil assault and battery against Moxley concerning an incident on AEW Dynamite in 2023. The lawsuit was filed against the parties on May 30th in the Wayne County Circuit Court by Christopher Dispenza, a longtime wrestling and entertainment production crew member who started doing contract work with AEW in 2019. Dispenza is not a direct employee of AEW and provided services to Broadcast Service Group, which supplies crew for AEW. His legal team, Rate Law P. LLC, told the takedown on SI he has not done work with AEW since December 5th, 2024, and was demoted by Broadcast Service Group to the role of carpenter without explanation. As of Monday morning, it had not yet been received a response to the filing from the promotion. Now, Dispenza claims he suffered severe neck and shoulder injuries as a result of being shoved to the ground unexpectedly by Jon Moxley during a match with Kenny Omega. Dispenza alleges in the lawsuit that the incident resulted in him requiring cervical fusion surgery, shoulder surgery, and treatment for other unspecified injuries. Now, Dispenza said the injuries occurred on the May 10th, 2023 edition of AEW Dynamite in Detroit, Michigan. There, Moxley faced Omega in a steel cage match, which ended up spilling to the outside. Moxley went to grab a screwdriver to use on Omega, and in doing so, shoved Dispenza to the ground. The lawsuit claims Moxley was supposed to only grab the screwdriver, and Dispenza took an unplanned fall as a result of being shoved. His legal team alleges this is an example of civil assault and battery, claiming that in allegedly deviating from the script, Moxley either showed intent to harm Dispenza or at minimum a complete disregard for whether harm was a result. In terms of footage of this, we can actually bring this up to you. It's on AEW's YouTube page. You can see right there. So they're on the outside of the ring. Moxley throws Omega back in, and then just really as the lawsuit alleges, you can see Moxley grab a screwdriver and then shove the production crew member to the ground, which is what the lawsuit states. This is allegedly when the production member actually suffered the injury. Now, the lawsuit alleges that Moxley, quote, had a history of disciplinary issues before this incident involving other people while under AEW's employ, agency, and or contractual relationship, end quote. It also says that, quote, past disciplinary offences by Moxley include a documented history of unpredictability as well as a lack of control by defendant AEW, all of which were known or should have been known to defendant AEW at the time of this assault, end quote. However, multiple high-level AEW sources with knowledge of Moxley's working history with the company and not speaking in an official capacity on AEW's behalf told the takedown on SI that they were unaware of any history of disciplinary issues with Moxley, noting he is respected within the promotion by talent and management. One referred to him as a locker room leader and disputed the characterization of Moxley given in the lawsuit. The filing also claims Moxley and AEW are responsible for exhibiting gross negligence, suggesting, quote, by going off script and violently shoving plaintiff, who was only a crew member, to the ground, Moxley demonstrated a substantial lack of concern for whether a severe injury would result to a production crew member at the event, end quote. It adds, quote, in taking no precautions or preventative measures to protect production staff, defendant AEW's actions likewise show a reckless disregard for the safety of production staff, which goes beyond simple inadvertence, end quote. The complaint also accuses AEW of negligence in hiring and training Moxley. A portion of count 1 claims AEW has a responsibility to, quote, exert reasonable control over its employees, agents, and or contracted individuals to ensure the safety of other performers, production crew, and the general audience, end quote. The 39-year-old Moxley has been wrestling since 2004 and has worked for not only AEW, but WWE, TNA, and New Japan Pro Wrestling, and other major promotions throughout his career. Dispenza's legal representation tells the takedown on SI that he claims AEW upper management was aware of the incident, but says he never discussed it with them. He alleges to have met with Tony Khan and AEW General Counsel Chris Peck about potential full-time employment opportunities in the months after the incident, but acknowledged there was never a prior conversation about the injuries he says he sustained. His attorney also noted Dispenza said he never filed an official incident report that night because he had another job on tour he had to get back to, but he claimed that he spoke with 3 individuals that evening about getting hurt. His legal team said Dispenza relayed his alleged injuries to ringside physician Dr. Michael Sampson, director of performance psychology Chris Manizone, and a member of the athletic training staff. Dispenza claims Sampson was upset over the situation, saying that all stunts or interactions outside of the ring must be approved by Sampson beforehand. Sampson was near Dispenza when the incident occurred. He said Sampson asked him to go see the training staff. Dispenza's representation told the takedown on SI that he was eventually told that he would not be treated any longer by the AEW athletic training staff and that the incident was never acknowledged again. It also said Dispenza and Moxley never discussed the incident briefly after the segment. Dispenza's team said he is looking to obtain compensation for injuries suffered due to the actions of the wrestler and the company he worked for, and the filing says the amount in controversy exceeds $25,000. It claims he incurred damages including, but not limited to, medical expenses, disability, permanent and serious disfigurement, wage loss and lost earnings capacity, pain and suffering, exemplary damages for mental and emotional anxiety, humiliation and or indignity, diminution to business reputation and opportunities. Other economic and non-economic damages are not yet known, and other all damages available under Michigan law. The takedown on SI said they reached out to an AEW spokesperson regarding the lawsuit and the allegations detailed in the piece, to which they replied, quote, AEW does not comment on pending litigation, end quote. Of course, Moxley is scheduled to defend the AEW World Championship against Hangman Adam Page at AEW All in Texas on July 12th. A status conference for the lawsuit is currently scheduled for August 29th. Of course, if we get any more details on this ongoing lawsuit, we'll let you know in a future video. Now, Cody Rhodes, he's beginning his step into Hollywood. It was reported in May of last year that the former WWE champion had landed a role in the new Naked Gun movie, with it noted that Rhodes was expected to have a cameo appearance in the movie reboot. Over a year later, we now have footage of Rhodes in his role, facing off against Liam Neeson's Lieutenant Frank Drebin Jr. In the latest trailer, Cody Rhodes can be seen looking as dashing as ever, albeit with a different hairstyle. In the next shot, we see Liam Neeson's character slam the WWE star heads down. When it comes back into the shot, Rhodes has a different appearance with bushier eyebrows and a squashed nose, which you can see on the screen. The Beast Mortos is about to become a lawyer. The Beast Mortos may soon have multiple careers, with the man/bull revealing he is only a few months away from becoming a lawyer. Along with an image of his recent test results, Mortos wrote on X, quote, officially in a few months I will be a lawyer. If you don't want to pay your ex-wife a divorce settlement, call me. I'm still learning to speak, but I can help you roar. Now, whether Mortos' quest to become a lawyer will fuel rivalry with smart Mark Sterling, the resident on-screen lawyer in AEW, who has represented the likes of MJF and the Premier Athletes, remains to be seen. Mortos has been a part of All Elite Wrestling since late 2023, having put pen to paper on a contract with the company in early 2024. Mortos is featured on AEW and ROH as part of LFI with Drilistico and Roosh. Now, Bryan Danielson, so much controversy and speculation about his future. While reflecting on his career, Bryan Danielson never expected to reach the heights that he did in his professional wrestling career. Over the course of his 20-year career in the world of professional wrestling, Bryan Danielson has achieved an incredible amount of success across the wrestling world, including winning major world championships at both WrestleMania and All In, while also wrestling at the Tokyo Dome and Arena Mexico. While his championship success is well documented from an in-ring perspective, the American Dragon is also considered by many to be one of the greatest to ever step foot in the ring. While speaking to Cairo News Radio, Danielson was asked if he ever thought he would be as successful as he has been in professional wrestling when he was younger, with Bryan given an honest answer, quote, "No, I had wanted to be a professional wrestler ever since I was in first grade, but I never expected to reach the heights that I did. My first 10 years of my career, I was at the independent level, and it was mostly wrestling in front of anywhere from 100 to 1,000 people. I'd go internationally, but I just figured that would be my whole career. I mean, I'm 5 feet, 8 inches tall, 190 pounds. I'm not your standard professional wrestler." Now, an interesting name has been announced for an upcoming TNA Impact show. Mark Madden, a staple of the WCW broadcast booth throughout the 1990s, has been confirmed to be making his return to pro wrestling via TNA's upcoming live event this Friday. Taking place in his hometown of Pittsburgh at the UPMC Event Center, Madden will take up a seat at the commentary table to help call the action as TNA looks to build towards next month's Slammiversary pay-per-view on July 20th. TNA's press release announcing Madden's appearance is as follows, quote, "TNA Wrestling confirmed today that longtime Pittsburgh sports radio host Mark Madden, whose ties to pro wrestling date back decades when he worked for World Championship Wrestling, will be a special color commentator at the TNA live event on Friday, June 20th at the UPMC Event Center on the campus of Robert Morris University." Madden worked at WCW from 1993 to 2000 and appeared on camera on WCW Monday Nitro broadcast in 2000s with his brash over-the-top commentary and trademark Hawaiian shirts. At WCW, Madden helped pioneer streaming and wrestling in the internet world. So, of course, we'll have to see what the plans are for Madden moving forward in TNA. A bit of an update here when it comes to Tegan Knox post-WWE career. Following recent comments that she received a severe lack of booking since being released by WWE in late 2024, Nixon Newell, formerly known as Tegan Knox, has revealed her bookings are now starting to pick up. Newell appeared on Busted Open Radio and noted wrestling had taken a step back in her life due to being involved in a car accident, but her bookings have picked up following a social media promo in early June. Quote, "I went through quite a lot in the last couple of months, which unfortunately, I put out a post saying wrestling unfortunately did take a back step for me. Like within days of being released, I was in a massive car wreck, so I've been sorting that out, and when the 90 days came up, I had to go straight back home and do some shows there, but life has just been so crazy that unfortunately wrestling did take a back step. But when I released a promo the other day on Instagram, the feedback and attraction that it got made me understand and prove to myself that I was right, where, yeah, you have definitely been lax and you shouldn't have put wrestling so far back in your life. So now I'm taking the initiative of doing promos, doing pictures, doing a bunch of stuff just to get myself back out there and get myself, you know, the name Nixon Newell back in people's minds." Nixon Newell was released by WWE for a second time in November of last year. She had seldom been used by the company during her second run and hadn't been booked to wrestle since July of 2024. Since making her return in March of 2025, Newell has had 5 matches, all in the United Kingdom, including 3 matches for Attack, 1 match for WrestleZone, and 1 match for New Wave Wrestling. While from Wales, Nixon Newell is based in Orlando, Florida, and she'll be soon moving to Texas. And finally, speaking of post-WWE matches, a bit of an update here when it comes to Priscilla Kelly and a bit of an injury concern. Now, Priscilla Kelly's first match since her WWE release didn't exactly go to plan as the contest was stopped after several minutes. Kelly made her return to the Indies at Wrestling Revolver Cage of Horrors 4, going one-on-one with fiancé Zachary Wentz. But the match was suddenly stopped, with Kelly later announcing she sustained a patella dislocation. Quote, "My patella came out of place. It does that from time to time. It's an anatomy issue I've had my whole life, and I've managed to always work through it, even sometimes continuing matches after it happens. It's not an injury, it just hurts a good bit, and I have to pop it back into place. Now you know. Sorry guys," Kelly wrote. Despite the issue, Kelly plans to make her bookings this upcoming weekend. The former Gigi Dolan will wrestle for Absolute Intense Wrestling in Akron, Ohio on Saturday, June 21st, before wrestling Robin Renegade at Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment on Sunday, June 22nd. Priscilla Kelly previously wrestled for WWE from January 2021 until her release in May 2025. She ended her run as a 2-time NXT Women's Champion with JC Jane. But there you go, guys. The latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe bottom right-hand corner. As you can see right there, we're currently at 22,443 subscribers. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Join the ever-expanding WNU as we get closer to 25k. In addition, you can scan that QR code that was just on the sidebar there and join members of the WN365 roster. You get your badges, your emojis, and your exclusive members-only content. I appreciate, as always, everyone for tuning in, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.